shared it on my own, but when I first came to the Lord, I was so sick. They had a problem even finding my liver. That's how bad I was. And it was between the drugs and the alcohol and everything else. And plus, I ended up getting mononucleosis on top of that. And because of that, I ended up catching everything just about. And I was out of work for over a year because I was so sick. The doctor said, you can't go back to work. So at the end of that, and all of a sudden, the day I was going to commit suicide, I gave my heart to the Lord, and I asked him, if you're real, you got to show me. The same thing that you asked him that time.
Yes.
If you're real, you got to show me. You know something? God wants to reveal himself to the people. He wants to reveal himself to you. If you really mean what you really got to mean it. You can't just say it off the cuff and say, well, God, here's my life, and, you got to mean it. You got to say, God, whatever you want to do, do it. You want to change me? Change me. See, I got to the point where I said, God, if you can do anything with this life, you got to do it. You got to show me that you can do it and you want to do it. And it was just awesome, the things that God was doing. Back then, I walked in miracles almost every day, and the one was not having a job. And I just prayed. I said, God, I'm ready to go back to work. I want a job. And I got this letter in the mail from the Department of Labor because I ended up on welfare, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to commit suicide, because that was so demeaning on top of all the other stuff that I was going through, and I just felt terrible. And they said on this letter, you have to go down to the Department of Labor. I believe it was in Patchogue, and you either did that or you're going to lose your benefits. So I went down there, and they handed me an application to bring home, and it was an application for Grumman Aerospace. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, we got something going on with Grumman. During your training, we'll pay for part of your training with them and stuff like that. So I went home and I started filling out the application, and the phone rang, and so I answered the phone, and they said, this is Grumman Aerospace. We have your application. And I'm going, I didn't say it to them, but I had it in my hand. I didn't even finish filling it out yet. And I go, okay, you have my application? And they said, yeah, we'd like you to come down for an interview tomorrow. And I said, okay, I'll do it, whatever. So we made an appointment, and I went down for the interview, and I'm sitting there at the table, and he's asking me different questions about experience, in the electronic field and stuff like that. And I'm trying to see this application because I wanted to know who filled it out for me, because it wasn't me. But I couldn't see. I couldn't see enough to tell if it was anybody's handwriting that I might have known or anything else. So we agreed on. He said, okay, they're going to call you for an interview. Not for an interview, for a physical. And we agreed on how much I would make, and I'm on my way out the door. And he says, wait a minute. He said, I forgot all about this. There was a cost of living increase, and it went into effect today. So because I hired you already, when I put my signature on the paper, you're going to get $10 more in your paycheck because you're capable of getting this cost of living increase. So here it is, I got a raise, and I still didn't know who filled out the application. So after leaving there, I went back to the Department of Labor, and I told the person at the desk there, I says, I'd like to thank whoever did this for me, And they're laughing at me, and they go, you got to be kidding, we'd go to jail. We can't
for you.
We can't fill that application out for anybody. That's against the law. We'd lose our jobs, we'd end up in jail. So I went home and I go, God, I don't know who did it, but you must have made them do it, whoever filled out this application. So I was home for about 2 hours, and I finally got a phone call. They said I would get a call to come in and get the physical. So they said, okay, congratulations. We're going to set up an appointment for you to come in tomorrow to have the physical. And they said, by the way, the gentleman that gave you the interview made a mistake. You're not going to get $10 more in your